This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hi, welcome to Painting 101. Well, what are we talking about this week? First of all, thank you everybody for sending all the wonderful pictures of all the work that you've been doing. It really, really is nice to see everybody trying and giving everything they got. Now, we used lesser brushes, we used lesser paints, we were painting on different things just so you could get the feel of things and how to move and flow things that aren't that really great to flow. I mean, that wasn't the greatest paint, as you saw, but putting coats on and trying to bring out the color on certain on a lighter surface and a darker surface, I think you kind of learned a couple things. Well, today we're going to start improving our equipment, and we're going to start talking about different types of equipment, which is going to lead to the beginning of probably next month, where we start picking away at little things on how to do certain things on miniatures and other such things. Now today we're going to be talking about brushes. How do you even go into the whole thing of brushes? Well, it's pretty easy. There's a lot of different ways that you can do things, and it really becomes almost a personal preference. Now, I consider it almost, in layman terms, to some degree, like a hammer. Okay? You can go to the toy store and get a plastic hammer, but you'll never be able to put the nail in the wood at all. Now, you can go get a very expensive Stanley hammer, top of the line hammer, and yeah, it'll drive the nail in without a problem. But you can also go to Walmart and get a no-name brand hammer and have the same effect. Okay? But which do you prefer? Which is your comfort level? And that's how you equate brushes in a way. If you get a really bad brush, it's not going to get the job done, and you're really going to have a lot of issues. If you get a really expensive brush, it's a preference, and you may feel it does better. But if you get a no-name brush, but it's a good quality brush, you can still get the same results. We're going to head over to the store, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different brushes. Now, of course, I'm not going to be able to show off every brand new brush because we're going to Hobby Lobby. Now, and they have some really, really nice brushes. I'm going to show you what the really, really poor brushes are that you should never ever buy. And then I'm going to show you the middle range that you can use to kind of practice until you really get good. Now, if you want to buy the expensive brushes, please, by all means, they have a great deal on them. But we're going to go over and we're going to talk about all this and more. So why don't we head over to Hobby Lobby? All right, so here we are at Hobby Lobby. So now we're going to take a look at some of these brushes. These right here, these are very hard bristle. They're not good for painting, especially miniatures or anything like that. I know these are bigger, but they also have a smaller batch that are just not this very good. It's a natural bristle. It bends, it breaks, it doesn't carry the paint well, and they're extremely cheap. Now, like I've said in the earlier part of this video, is that you can come here and get good brushes cheaper, and of course you can always get the Games Workshop or the Army Builder and stuff like that. But for things that you want to do, and as we're gradually getting better materials to work further with, there we go, somebody even talking about it up top, we're looking for medium brushes and good brushes. I like these $7.99 nylon ones. For some reason they work very well. For me, it's a particular choice. I like them for doing a lot of not so much detail work, but more dry brushing, and I go through them pretty quickly. They don't last very long, and that's okay, because I don't mind going out and buying multiple packs of these because of some of the way the curvatures and the indentations of the miniatures are, where you really have to get in there and work something in there. You're going to bang up a good brush. Now over here, these Master Touches, which are two right over here, these are really, really great brushes. These are a lot more expensive. Now, where you would pay $7.99 for a group of these, you'll pay $4.99 just for one brush. These are some of the better ones. And as you can see, they're broken down by oils and acrylics, which when you're painting models, you're going to be painting oils and acrylics. Well, acrylics, you're going to be using acrylics, and these are acrylics, and they have a variance of different type of brushes. I like some of the smaller brushes, the detail brushes. I get all my detail brushes here, and I love these. These are fantastic, and if you keep them clean, which we will talk in a further episode, you'll know that we are going to be talking about how to maintain and keep up with your good brushes if you're going to pay $3.99. But most of the time, especially at a hobby store, you're going to find that you're going to be able to get them on discount. It's usually 50% off the tag, especially at a Hobby Lobby or a Joann's. All these better brushes will go on discount. To really get yourself going, you can go out and you can buy these, and you're going to see, and hopefully you guys can go out and get these. You're going to see that when we do that same technique again, and some of the things that we talked about last week, you're going to see with a better brush how better you can have control of the paint. And that's the biggest key here, is having control of the paint. So brushes, they vary a bit, but we'll talk more about that up top. So speaking of which, why don't we go up top and get on out of here for this week. So there you have it. There's our little trip, and we're just talking about different types of brushes. I actually saw those ones that were just awful. You're not going to paint anything with that. That's for like making a sign, for crying out loud. Hey, garage sale here. Well, I should have one, right? But as you saw, we got to better brushes, then even better brushes, and then really great brushes. Now, Army Builder, Citadel, Games Workshop, which is basically the same thing, Vallejo. There are so many great brushes out there. You can't go wrong with anything that you choose or you get. If you prefer to get them from Games Workshop, or you prefer to get them from Army Builder, you know, it's a sense of feel. I showed you some that you can just go to your local store and get at a reasonable price. As you saw, that, you know, they're not overpriced or anything like that, and they're things that get going. But now, if you go out and you go get those brushes and you use those lesser paints, you'll notice a difference. I mean, it's the quality is, the paint's the paint, and we'll be talking about paint next week. But just taking that and using it on a better brush, you'll notice that you have more control, more feel, and it depends on the brush and how you feel. Don't use the really cheap brushes that we were trying to pass off, but we'll talk more about those next week. Next week when we talk about paint and brush strokes and brush marks, and all those things are our first future episode. But today, I think you have an idea that in order to put something onto the canvas or the miniature, that you have to have something that you are comfortable with, learn how to control with, and will give you a sense of consistency, because that's what it's all about, is consistency. So until next time, or next week when we do yet another Painting 101, I'm Rob Orne, and we will see you soon.